Hello, welcome to Transitions Talks with me, Priya Winston. Thank you for joining us. And so today I'm going to be speaking with a parent of a very successful and accomplished young adult with autism named Esther Carpenter. To be here with Esther Carpenter, a transitions parent. And today I just wanted to ask you about a couple questions about your experience as a parent of a young adult with a learning difference.
Okay.
I wanted to start with, how did it feel to see two of your sons walking across the same stage, earning their degrees? I know they recently graduated.
Yes. So it was like a double whammy, to say, wow, this really is happening to our family. So we're very proud of both of them.
Oh, that's so exciting.
It
And I
is.
know it must feel so incredible after this year to accomplish that.
Absolutely. They worked very, very hard.
I'll bet. Can you share with us your story about hearing about Andrew's diagnosis and the changes that brought that impacted you and him?
Sure. Andrew's my firstborn, and there's 4 years between my two kids. And so we always just thought Andrew was a quiet kid. He was a quiet kid. And in elementary school, I thought maybe there was some differences that he might have had. He didn't seem to engage with the other kids. He was certainly smart enough. He was top of his class in reading and spelling in kindergarten. But before we knew it, it was just not that interaction. So after many years of trying this doctor, this therapy, this situation, with seeing a lot of doctors, we then had our second child 4 years later, and we realized there was a real lot of difference between one and another. And it was a little more different than just one sibling against another. It was that there was some real concerns with Andrew. So finally he received a diagnosis at 9, and I was very relieved. Because I knew that there was something, but I needed a name and I needed something to be able to research and look at and find out how I could help him. So I had that. So for me, it was relieving. For Tim, I think it was a lot harder. I think maybe he didn't research as much as I did, or maybe he was just trying to say, everyone's different, everyone's, it's just who he is, which is true. It is who he is. But for him, it took him a little longer to deal with the sadness of the diagnosis at first.
It's such a difficult thing to understand.
It is, and there's a lot of facets to it. But with time, he got through it, and Andrew's just Andrew, and we just treat him like anybody else, like everybody else at my house.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that story. I know it's not easy, and I'm just so proud of Andrew and seeing the way he's blossomed and
Oh my God,
where
yes.
he's at in life and his confidence now. It's just incredible.
It's amazing.
Given that, I wanted to ask you, did you ever think Andrew would be at the point in his life that he's at today? He has his associate's degree,
No.
He's a singer in Flame, he's working. Did you ever expect that for him?
Deep down in my heart, I did. Deep down in my heart, I knew he could do it. I didn't know if we would get there or how long it would take to get there. I mean, we're very blessed with everything that has happened in Andrew's life and the achievements that he's made. He just really keeps persevering, and every time he achieves something or every time he starts to move a little forward, we're cheering him on. So I think that that's very important.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It sounds like you believed in him from the get-go.
From the day I held him in my arms.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
What is something that you taught your children, and specifically your other sons, about Andrew's diagnosis? And did you address issues the same way with them as you did with him?
Like I had told you, Andrew was diagnosed at 9, so John was like 6.
Yeah.
And so it was hard. But as they were growing up, we first told Andrew right away because we wanted him to know maybe it's tougher for you to do this, or maybe it's tougher for you to interact with kids. But the reason is because you have autism. And even though that's what you have, it doesn't mean you can't learn those things that you need to move forward and to get where you want. So we started right away with that. And then as a parent, you parent your each child you have differently, a little bit differently, with their likes, their dislikes, their challenges, and every one of them, neurotypical or not, have challenges. So we really focused on just his strengths, and we told the kids, John specifically, he needed to just take a step back and let Andrew absorb things. John's really quick with things, and Andrew takes a little more time to absorb it. And John learned that he needed to give Andrew a little more time. But they were both held, and all three of my boys are held to standards of our house. Whether you have autism or not, you're still taking out the garbage, you're still washing down the table, you're still doing dishes, making your bed, and things like that. So that's just parenting, I guess.
Sounds like you had a lot of the same expectations across the board.
Absolutely. And it might have taken Andrew some more prompts than the other two to get going. That's okay. Andrew still has lists at our house in the bathroom or in his bedroom, so that if he does have a challenging day, he can quickly look at it. And I'll say to him, if you're having an issue today, look at your list. You don't want prompts? Look at your list. And he does.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you taught him some of that from an early age. And what was Andrew's favorite hobby as a child?
Andrew at first was into Thomas the Tank Engine. Everything Thomas the Tank Engine. He knew the numbers, he knew their colors, that was probably at 3. And then he loved to read. When Andrew was really young, he could just recite to you one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, the absolute entire book. Then he went into a couple other phases after Thomas the Tank Engine ran out. He was into Power Rangers. That was always fun. Wrestling and Nerf guns, and just like any other kid, still he has some of those things that he just really holds on to. But we explained to him the difference between what's appropriate now and what's not, and what's appropriate to do alone, and what's cool things to do with other people.
Nice. So Andrew is a singer in the band Flame. When did his interest in music start?
At 8 months old, he would be in the back seat of the car singing away. And he would just, at that time, la 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 la, but Andrew spoke very early at 9 months. So he right away would start singing and humming. My mother did a lot of music with him. My mom played the piano, so Andrew would sing while she played the piano, all while he grew up. And he just has been singing. I've always sang to him, so it was just something it just had in him forever.
Wow, I didn't realize that from an early age he was interested in music.
Yes, he's loved it forever.
And you've raised 2 sons to adulthood, one being neurotypical and one diagnosed with a learning difference. What advice can you give other families who have a child that's gotten this diagnosis? Or what other suggestions can you give to families raising a teenager with learning differences?
I would say the one, whether neurotypical or not, encourage. And I think that trying new things and encouraging them to try new things is critical. For kids that are neurotypical, it's a little easier for them to try new things with the encouragement of the parent. For Andrew, being on the spectrum, I think it's a lot harder for him to get to that point, but we just continually to encourage him to try new things, do new things, taste new things, go new places. And even if he tries it once, our motto kind of is try it once, if you never want to do it again, that's okay. Try it once. And then sometimes afterwards we can talk to Andrew about, how was that? Was it as bad as you thought? Was it as better than you thought? And he will sometimes say, I'm never doing that again, which is fine,
Yeah.
like everyone else. Or he'll say, that wasn't that bad. And then we can use that to encourage him to do other things. Remember when you tried this and you didn't think you'd like it and you really liked it? And he's like, oh yeah. So sometimes there's that extra layer that you have to put in with Andrew, but we keep working on it, and it's a work in progress.
I love that. That was kind of the motto in my house growing up too. Try anything once, especially with food.
Yes, especially with food.
You have to try it once before you say you don't like it.
Right.
Is there anything else you'd want to share with us today?
I don't think so. I just want to say thank you for inviting me to tell our story, our family story about Andrew and about the Carpenters. And we are a work in progress, all of us.
Thank you so much for joining us, Esther, for opening up about your experiences and being vulnerable.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much for watching. Join us next month on the next episode of Transitions Talks. To learn more about transitions, visit www.transitionsusa.org.